Maddie and JoJo, Two People's Podcast Radio Show.
Woo
What's up, Maddie?
Hello, world.
Yeah, JoJo.
We're back.
Yeah, so how's the weather out there?
Actually, it's freezing today.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, it's been up and down, but we're used to that for the spring. So,
Yeah, we had 90 for like 2 days,
ugh.
and then it was 50.
Ah,
Then it was 50,
okay. Well,
like the last 2 days. I'm like, what? Yeah, no, not messing with the weather at all. That's totally normal.
exactly.
And actually, one night,
Weather sounds like.
one night, it felt like I was being radiated.
Ooh.
Like I was like so hot. I'm like, this is crazy. And I told Jen that, and she goes, yeah, that was really weird, wasn't it?
Hmm.
So I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if they're radiating us.
I wouldn't doubt it. They're doing everything else to us.
Lovely.
Might as well just burn us alive.
Needs just cooking us.
Just do it already.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to stay alive a little longer though.
I know. Same.
Well,
Oh,
what we don't even really have any current events this week, I
well,
don't think.
I have a couple since it was Easter. I feel like we have one to discuss anyway. Maybe.
Oh yeah, go, let's go.
Okay, so did you hear about that missing soldier in the war?
In the plane?
Yeah, the plane went down. One came out injured. They found him, but the other one was missing for 3 days.
Yeah, I saw a little of the hullabaloo.
Okay.
People are on like
Oh,
jumping on both sides of the fence on that one.
okay. So yeah, I'm good. Glad. Because to me, again, I'm just gonna let's do an alarm psyop moment because I feel like how coincidental do we have a soldier that's missing for 3 days and then
Yeah.
found 3 days later on Easter on a
Oh,
mountainside, and they found him by his radio broadcast of God is great.
of what was the last part? Sorry.
God is great.
Oh, that's what he texted or something or
Yeah,
radioed.
on Easter, 3 days later
Wow.
on a
I mean, the psyops are just getting like out of control at this point, you know?
I mean, come on.
Yeah, yeah, because a lot of people are starting to question if that war is even real.
Well, it's
Which I don't want to do that because like if somebody's really dying out there, I don't want to be. We've gone over that like a million times, but it's really
but and
where are we at?
why
They're just
our discernment is so important right now, as and so is our faith. I think we need to get stronger, as strong with source as possible right now because it is true. I think there's so much disinformation going on right now and we don't know what to believe in. Heaven forbid we say something like this and it really did happen, but honestly,
right.
how many coincidences till it's mathematically impossible? And if this did happen, that is a god smack of any, but it's just coincidental that it happened 3 days later. Boom, he resurrected on a mountainside with a radio call of God is great on Easter. Hallelujah. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that one. The other thing is they've already told us we're not going to tell anybody our moves, and yet in this war they've told everybody their moves, and it's like okay,
Right.
yeah, and then like Iran's like I forget who's doing it, but they're like broadcasting like where all the Israeli targets would be, like the desalinization plants and all this stuff, and like
And see, to me, we've talked
and they
about
actually haven't taken them out, like they haven't done it, so it's like
why would
hmm.
they be exactly? Why would they be putting that, broadcasting all of that? I don't know. We've talked about that before where, this war could be going both ways, where we're not only taking out the bad in Iran, but we're about to take out the bad in Israel too. I firmly believe that. Q's always
Yeah,
right.
yeah. No, I agree with that totally. I was wondering about that because the Q movement people were always like Well, I was part of this too. That like they're going to take out certain things that need certain satanic like kind of node points
Mm-hmm.
that need to be taken out. And I just wonder, about that. Like, is that what's going on here? Like, are they taking out certain facilities on both sides? And
I firmly believe that's what's going on. And then also, I guess he's supposed to be coming on today at 8 p.m. Eastern to talk about,
who's he?
to give us the update. It's been 10 days. So this is his 10-day mark that he gave Iran that said,
Oh,
open the strait or there's going to be hell to pay. Do you remember that post? Did you see that post from the other day?
no, no, I haven't been. I don't follow Trump at all anymore.
Okay.
I
Listen,
just,
I'm going to read it. I
yeah.
pulled up here. I'm going to read it to you. So Donald Trump posted this on 4/5. Tuesday, today, will be a power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. He posted
Ah,
that.
I don't know. That's really. I don't like the Allah thing.
I know. Isn't that nuts?
That's weird.
So,
You can't
yeah,
pe you can't peg this guy down to anything.
I know.
He's like kissing the wall, praising Allah,
I,
mentions Jesus. What the heck?
he's all over.
It's all over the map.
He's a paradigm. I don't get it, but I get it.
Yeah.
Get it, but I get
You
it.
know, I'm glad you're on Facebook now.
Yay!
You're kind of lost when you're not on Facebook, and we don't get as much traction. But I am really I told you this the other day. I'm really noticing some weird traffic, traffic that I've stopped responding to, like on my posts. And once again, it's almost like I only get traffic on certain posts.
Yeah,
It's the
for sure.
strangest freaking thing. If I mention cloud ships, boom, I get negative traction out of nowhere. Like I didn't even. Who are all you people?
I know. I'm trying to figure it out too and do this new account slowly. And I mean, they're already doing stuff to me. Sometimes I'll post something and it's disappeared. It's gone. Or
Really?
yeah, the other day they've already turned off. I can't. Well, they've turned it back on as of last night, but for like 2 days, I couldn't accept any more friend requests. I mean, they're already screwing with this account. I'm so over it.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is so weird.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give up.
yeah, I don't know.
Give up, Dan.
But Facebook sure is letting me get away with a lot of stuff. I just kind of wonder if they're letting me dig a hole. They're about to, I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
learned I learned a new word though today.
Yeah.
It's 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 the opposite of paranoia.
Oh,
It's pronoia.
pronoia. I like it.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Hopium.
It- Paranoia means the world is out to get you.
No hopium.
Pronoia is the world is out to do everything for you. And
AKA hopium.
I was like, hey, okay,
I like
I
it.
should get, I can get on board with this, maybe.
Okay. Hey, whatever works. I like it. Okay.
Well, it's getting back to the spiritual thing again. It's just like if you think the world is beautiful, you'll start to see the world as beautiful, right? All of a sudden, beautiful things will start happening.
Exactly. And that's what we all forget, especially when, I don't know, I feel like a lot of us are surrounded by constant, weird energy. So,
Mm.
we flip.
Well, I think the world is in like a flu state where it's like it's shedding toxins or something, and because I've had to see a lot of toxic stuff the last 2.5 years,
Yeah. But then
as you well know, because I
like,
told you about all of it, and so
and we were talking about like feeling weird and everything, but what I love is like when like you and me, when we can get together and we can talk no matter how weird everything's made us feel around our personal lives or whatever, when two souls like us who when your energy just sinks like ours,
yeah,
like the Patriot family alone. I mean, Star, Tara,
yeah,
Sherry, all of us, when we get together, we just feel good, and I think it's
yeah,
so important.
yeah. It's like two flames make a bigger flame.
Exactly, exactly. We need more of that. That's why we need like a Patriot party or something. I don't.
Oh man, I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I
That,
don't want to be anywhere near people.
oh my gosh. But like-minded individuals, oh, that would be such a breath of fresh air for me.
I don't even know if I could handle that. I would love to see it, but I don't think I would attend.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think where I need to be is with the animals in the woods somewhere.
Uh,
I don't know. I have a really weird,
I would love that too.
I have a really weird calling where I'm just like, I
Yeah.
think I need to be in the woods for some stupid reason.
No, I hear ya. I'm trying to figure out a camping trip. I want to go to what's it?
Somewhere by you guys, huh?
Um yeah, I always forget. Hold on, let me look up the name.
Yeah, there's been like a little war going on against the woodlands, and the woodland
Oh,
creature.
yeah, so they remember, I think I told you this a while back, but they said that there was, well, Ohio had a lot of major Bigfoot sightings recently, but
Right.
Illinois,
You know what? I tripped on that. I found all that stuff you were talking about.
yeah, well, Illinois actually has had an uptake in sightings lately. So I am going to do a trip to Starved Rock because that's one of the places they say
Mm.
has had quite a few more sightings lately. So we'll see, we'll see.
Well, if you talk to them in your head,
Yeah,
in
I'm
your head voice,
offering.
they'll show up because they did for me.
Yeah, and bring them some offerings. Yeah, I want to do this the right way. See what happens. I'm.
Yeah, they love marbles and crayons
Yeah,
and even little tiny cars. I hear like little Matchbox cars or whatever.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I, we did that one time. Went to um, where'd we go? Up by Bohemian Grove,
Oh my gosh.
and immediately, like the very first night, we and every subsequent night that we were there, we had visitors that would come and knock on the tree. I never saw them. I think we might even had a dog man in there at one point. It woke up the entire neighborhood.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've told you this story a couple times,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
even Jack was like, it was like 3 in the morning. We all had our flashlights out, the neighbors, everything. We couldn't figure out where the source of the noise was coming, but I could hear it leaving. I could hear it running up the embankment, like back up in the mountain. So
That's crazy. That would be so creepy. Oh my gosh. But yeah, but fun too. Exciting, creepy. All the.
yeah, actually, I wasn't that creeped out. Actually, it was just weird. But the noises that I was hearing, the one on one of the last nights was bad. Like something was getting killed. So
Oh
I didn't enjoy that part. But
yeah.
it was happening right below my deck, and I was leaning out the window with my flashlight, and I could not pick anything up. I went down into the creek afterwards, and I still couldn't find anything. But I was like, it happened. So because the neighbors came out, we were talking about it and stuff. Yeah, we had thought that maybe one of the neighbors' cats had gotten eaten, but nobody was missing anything, so we couldn't figure anything out. Yeah, it was very strange.
Yeah.
But that's a strange area, so the more woodsy it is, definitely the. Oh yeah, that's another thing Lloyd Pye was saying. He actually names the Sasquatch. So he's like, okay, there's Sasquatch, and then there's like the Yowie, and then there's the abominable snowman, and then there's these other ones that are like up in Asia called the. Well, there wasn't Orangis, and that's Southern Asia, and the Northern Asia. Unfortunately, in Northern Asia, they kill them and eat them, and then they save all the body parts. They put them into like medicine and stuff. Most of the time, it's for you know to create virility or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was including that in another reason why you don't find the fossils of these beings, which I'm still past that. I'm like, I don't need to see a body or a fossil of a Bigfoot to
Right.
know they're out there.
Right.
You know, that I don't need any of that. But he goes, the reason that you don't see that is because, and he explained this quite eloquently. He said, well, there's certain areas that people want to live. Maybe the weather's nicer, it's not as wooded or a jungle because people, humans don't live in the darkness. He goes, we don't live in the heart of the jungle because even if we did, and when we do, what first thing we do is start clearing it out, make roads in there, right?
Right.
He goes, and so at some point, these other beings were just driven out, but they didn't go extinct. They just went to the places the humans don't go. They just kept going until they didn't get chased anymore, is how he said it. And I was like, that makes so much freaking sense.
Yeah.
So they just live, and if you've flown anywhere, as you have, as we both have, and you can just marvel at the amount of space on this planet or whatever we're on, and it's just like,
Yep.
like when I fly to Australia, I'm like, look at all this seawater. I don't see land for like 20 hours, and it's like, if people don't think that there's something under that water, of course, if I wanted to hide, that's where I would go. Right, well, who's going to get you under the water?
Well, and there's more, way more underneath the water than we know of because I mean, the water studies have been very important to the cabal
Yeah,
and higher ups, you know?
yeah. Then what about the Miramar, where
Exactly.
you can join an entire country that's of the sea and not of land?
Why do they find the ocean so intriguing? You know, they know
Well, I think they're going in that ocean way more than we know they are.
exactly. Exactly.
Well, I have a current event on this topic.
Okay.
This is the strangest story of this year and possibly the last 10 years.
Okay.
Tell me if you've heard it. This guy in I want to say Florida, so I don't know. Star will shoot me down, maybe. And he's just a normal Joe. I think he's like a construction worker or something. He says, I don't know if he says 45, but he says dolphins abducted him.
Yes. Yes. I sent you this a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but yes.
Really? Okay, so dolphins abducted him, took him down,
Yes.
fed him air,
Kidnapped him.
and
Yes.
yeah, and forced him. Yeah, we did talk about this. And forced. So I started looking into it and forced him to build some stuff in the underwater cities.
Yes.
And then so he was missing for 3 days or something, right?
Yeah.
3 or 4 days, and he comes back and he tells the story. And then a week later, 45 dolphins end up dead on the shore.
Yeah. Everybody thinks he was crazy, but y-
No, I don't. I don't think it's
I don't
crazy at all.
either.
I think it is crazy to think about, but I don't think it's. Let's bring all the information in. We'll sort it out some other way.
Exactly.
But
I think we
who killed the dolphins?
let's hear this guy out. Exactly. Exactly.
Let's hear this guy out. We got to get him on the podcast. That's
Oh,
why.
that'd be
Can we
cool.
find him?
Ooh, that would be awesome.
Let's do that over the next week. Let's find this dude because
Let's get his.
they've made it illegal to talk to dolphins. Get the front door.
I know.
Why on no? I know people are questioning it, but like people aren't questioning that enough.
That's what we should.
Like that is bizarre.
Don't.
Oh, plus they can come up and do their little sonar stuff and like cure cancer and stuff like that, or detect it and things like that. Like dogs.
But that's why I'm saying, like earlier when we were talking about dumbing down of society, is exactly that. It's like do your research because you shouldn't be questioning the guy's sanity. You should be questioning why he was slapped with a charge for talking to dolphins.
What was he?
I think he was. I'll go back
Who
and look
killed the?
for her.
So who killed the 45 doll? I can't. It's gonna kill me inside
I think
if
it,
there's a group of like cryptid hunters that go out there and kill dolphins because they talk to humans.
I know.
That's gonna kill me inside.
Yeah.
That's gonna destroy me.
Well, I will
Like that really
find the
upset me.
article and I'll put it here when I upload it. But yeah, I know it. That story way more than what they're trying to tell us, and that man is talking truth, whether people want to believe him or not.
Well, I I want to know what he's got to say.
I do too.
We got to get that dude on.
Yep, let's find him.
We got to try to get this dude on. Because there's another one where, oh God, I can't think of what, I can't even think where I heard this now, but I just heard it like the other day, and I scroll too much. But he was like basically, he was in, yeah, I think maybe he was on the island of Vancouver Island,
Hmm.
or somewhere in that area. I was thinking he was more back east, but I think now he was. Anyway, doesn't matter because this could happen anywhere. But he was sleeping in his sleeping bag, and he was. I think he was like he was off work, but he was normally a treat, a lumberjack sort of thing. So he was kind of out there checking more stuff out, and maybe that's why he got taken. I don't know, but uh, so he's sleeping. He would do camping on his off time and like scout out new stuff and just check everything out. And I think maybe it was Vancouver Island because I don't think there's any predators like mainstream science predators up there. Like they don't have wolves and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because it's an island. Anyway, sleeping in his sleeping bag, and a big hand shoved him to the bottom of the sleeping bag and picked him up like a sack of potatoes, like Santa Claus, and carried him off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and when he woke up, he was in basically like a big canyon that was hemmed in on all sides by like gigantic rocks.
What?
Yeah, you haven't heard this before? Okay, this is well known actually too, by the way. And so then on the other side of the paddock that he woke up in was the lair of this Sasquatch, his wife and two children.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember this story. I think it was Lloyd Pye that was talking about it, but he didn't go into detail. But I actually know the details of the story. But it's been a long time since I've heard it. And he comically escaped too because he tricked the Sasquatch into something. They're smart, but they're not super smart. Yeah, I mean, everybody's smart in their own way, in other words. But so it took them like 3 days, and they didn't harm him or anything. And I can't remember what the reason was that they took him. I think the Sasquatch wanted him to mate with his daughter or something like that. And 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 that's not the first story that's been told. There's been a lot of stories of people getting abducted by Sasquatch, and it's because they tried to induct them into their family and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he tricks them, and he leaves, and he gets out of there, and he didn't tell anybody. And then years and years and years later, something came up where there's this guy publicly was going, "Hey man, there's Sasquatches right here on this very island," and he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I was abducted by one." So he gave the whole thing. He told this story, and then that got onto the air, onto the media, and then the media descended upon him, right? And which he didn't want. That's why he didn't tell anybody for all those decades or whatever. And so they descended upon him, and then they're like, "Oh, you're lying," the typical shit, right?
Right.
And so he goes, "Oh, well, whatever. I don't care what you think of me." So and this guy was like the salt of the earth. And basically, the one guy goes, if you even spent any time with him, you would know that this dude wouldn't lie about anything, right? So they gave him like a bunch of polygraphs. They gave him like over 10 polygraphs over a period of time, and he passed every single one. And he goes, and Lloyd was saying that because it's all coming back to me now. Because Lloyd Pye says, he goes, well, the thing is, if you're lying, you have to maintain the lie and you have to remember the lie. That's extremely difficult in any capacity, right? We all know this.
Yeah.
And you can't keep it up over a period of time. So they were giving him polygraphs over the period of years, and he passed every single one. And the reason he goes, it's because I'm not lying,
Yeah.
you know.
Wow.
So yeah, that's going on. I think they're a form of human, sort of, and the way Lord Pye says it is they were here first,
Yeah.
and then I have one.
I
I
mean,
have another story.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just thinking, they always talked about cavemen and all that back in the day.
Mm,
You know?
that's it. Yes, that's okay. See, I forgot we didn't touch on that in the last episode there. Caveman. Okay, Hamilton Peters talks about this all the time. What does he call them? Feral humans.
Yeah.
Okay, so people, for whatever reason, will decide to go out into the woods and just break away civilization. They don't want anything to do with us anymore,
Mm-hmm.
or what I mean. Where humanity's going, they just break away, forget it. I'm just gonna go build a log cabin, be by myself, hunt and fish, whatever, right?
Right.
So then you start eating off the land, and you're not eating any processed food ever. And I firmly believe, to steal a quote from you, is that the more you do that, the more you become part of the entity that is Earth. Or how am I trying to say that? That you're way more in tune with uh, the the entity that is Earth,
Right.
that probably incorporates all of life on Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
In sync with it. Yeah.
oh, totally. And you might even become a little bit, but there's this other weird physical process that starts happening, I suspect, and that is you start growing hair
Oh. So
because
you,
it's a protective thing, right? Isn't it?
so you would start to turn into Sasquatch, is what you're saying.
I I think that there's some level of that. I don't think you're gonna all turn completely into a Sasquatch, but there are varying degrees of these feral humans. Some are like extremely, extremely violent,
Mm-hmm.
like in the King Kong movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're really like they don't care. They'll eat humans. In other words, they'll kill you and eat you.
Yeah.
And
I think that that's a possibility. I firmly believe that's at least how we started, if not how we, if we would go.
and these are cavemen. I think these are like modern day cavemen exist. This is
Yeah.
what I was trying to get to. Well, but there's the other side of it too, where there's some are hairy.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these feral human beings are hairy and stuff, and they're not violent. Some are not violent. Some will eat you.
Right.
Uh, from from my understanding, oddly enough, is the less hairier they are, the more violent they are,
Oh.
and the more hairy that they get, the more aloof they are, and the more they just either don't want to have anything to do with you, or they're kind, but they don't really, neither here nor there. They're not hunting you, in other words.
Right.
And then every sort of shade inside the spectrum. Uh, a lot of this stuff comes from Canada, like Hammerson Peters on YouTube. Hammerson Peters, look him up on YouTube.
I will. Yeah.
There's for everybody listening, he's one of the best. Like he's really good at what he does, and he brings in all the old stories from all the old settlers and all the First Nation people and stuff. And I think he's actually part First Nation himself, or
Yeah.
Indian, whatever. We got to. Uh, so I guess he gets access to a lot of it, and it gets even much stranger than that. There's some really fun stories in there. Like, I'll just tell you one briefly. Like these, I guess, trappers, because that's a lot of people, a lot of Caucasians that were there became trappers, right? Because the fur trade and all that sort of thing. But this one guy had made a pact with something, and they were okay. This is going to sound wild, but this isn't the only story of this happening. So I'm just going to tell it. So you have to go to Henderson Peters to find it, but he was able because they were like bumming out because they couldn't go to Christmas or like New Year's at this other place, which was like 20 miles away, and it was too far for them to go for the evening or whatever. So this dude was in contact with something, I don't know, and it told him basically get in the canoe, and it gave him some instructions, but also told him to never ever do something. I forgot what it was, like look down or or they weren't supposed to smoke in the canoe, or I forget what it was. But so they get in the canoe lifts off and it takes off and goes to that next city or whatever. And the accounts were that they were there. They were like physically there. And they all partied, the pub or whatever it was. And they rode their canoe through the air back home, and they were all home the next day.
Wow.
But something happened, and they didn't do what they were told not to do, and they did do it, and then they fell out of the air
Oh.
right as they were trying to land. So they all like fell out of the air from like 40 feet or something, and like some of them got a little injured. And that's not the only story of that happening. There's other stories of people canoeing to other places.
Oh wow.
And then you go to China and then they've got stories. And then you go to the Middle East, they talk about the flying carpets and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
those used to.
I don't
Oh,
discount it at all, though.
yeah.
I just want to know more.
Well, flying carpets used to always be in the movies back in the day.
Well, they do say levitation can be attributed to like interdimensional beings or demons, basically.
Yeah,
And so, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
yeah.
Well, the only other current event I wanted to touch before we wrap this one up, we're at 30 now, um,
Mhm.
is the Artemis 2 launch. Ah, did you see it? Did you see it?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
We
All right. Well, two
deserve
things.
we deserve better psyops.
You
Oh,
beat me to it.
oh
Oh
gosh.
man.
Yeah.
I think we're hitting new stride on this show.
You listen. This Artemis 2 thing though. If you're not awake, this had to have awakened quite a few people. Come on. Oh,
I
oh.
don't know if it's awakening people, but it's definitely like people are like goofing on it. Like it,
Scratch
yeah,
our heads. Huh? What's going on? Wait a minute.
that seems to be the MO of these bad psyops, these quote unquote bad psyops, is that they're making them so obvious and bad
Yeah, like I saw.
that everybody goofs on it.
Yeah, one of the videos I saw was literally like upon takeoff that day, like in a split moment, you see
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
explosion part go away, and you see them cascading down in their
The escape hatch.
in their cable cars.
Yeah,
Yes.
the escape cable car.
Oh my
You
god.
know, that's not even new either. That's
It's not.
actually not even new. I think that you can. I saw that a long time ago where they were doing that too.
And then
The other thing was I think this was fake, but uh, it looked like the Artemis was like had creases in it, like maybe it was a balloon.
like inflatable. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. I mean, that's how you would get a rocket to land. I mean, none of that makes any sense. A
Uh,
rocket landing
oh geez.
on its own. But I had to. I think I've already told you this, but I'm just gonna say it again though. When I was 8 years old, one of the very first paranormal experiences I ever had was we moved into this new house. We were on a hill. The hill was overlooking fields. They hadn't built houses on these fields yet, and so there wasn't a whole lot going on. And I didn't have any blinds or shades on my window, so I had to like I just could look out my window. And I'm looking out the window. I'm looking south here in California, and I don't think it was a full size rocket. It was like a tiny rocket. It could have been anywhere from like 3 feet to like 15 feet. And it was off in the distance. Now remember, I'm 8, but I swear I know I saw this. Not dreaming, I saw this. It took off. Or maybe it didn't take off. Maybe I only saw it landing. It was like, but the biggest part was the rocket was coming back down to Earth with the flames coming out the bottom. Back, like the way that Elon Musk would have you believe he's landing rockets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's coming back down like that.
Exactly.
And I was like, even at 8, I'm pretty smart. At 8 years old, I'm pretty smart. And I was like, okay, like I'm not a rocket scientist, but I know that that's almost impossible. Like what? And I can't tell if it was in the next yard or if it was like miles away. And I don't know how that ended, but I was like so confused. Like that doesn't make any sense at all.
Well,
And then flash forward to years later, and then they're landing rockets like that. I'm like, that's not possible.
and speaking of Elon Musk, it's interesting to note that so he hasn't spoken one word about Artemis 2 since 2023. Rocket
Did he launch Artemis, or who's launching Artemis? Is
NASA.
that the U.S. government? Oh, NASA?
Yes.
Yeah, we went to the moon. Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, and like the picture, there's this picture that they keep replaying on Fox where they're showing
The
the
crater?
in the capsule. And of course, you know how they do so stupid the women's hair where they like set it up and it's
Oh, God.
oh
It's ridiculous.
it's
Yeah. Well, okay, well, me and you, between me and you know what I thought? The very first thing I thought when they showed that giant crater on the moon,
Yeah.
I was like, they're slowly trying to tell us we live in a crater.
Oh, 100%.
It's crater Earth theory. Because I was looking at it and go, dude, that could be, if the shading was different, the colors were different, that could easily be a giant shot of crater Earth. Go and look at it again. It's just. I'm gonna go stare at it.
And one thing about this psyop too is so, and I have to go back and find out, and I'll add it to our video here. You'll laugh. This post I saw on Twitter, and this guy, I think he might have been in California. I'm not sure, but he took a picture of the moon from what he was seeing, right? And
Mm,
next to it,
right,
he had a post from the NASA astronauts where they had
right.
a picture of the moon 3 days later, still on their journey to the moon. And that's how far the moon is away. And he's like, wait a minute.
It's like a pinprick.
So three
like
days
it's
later,
like the
and
yeah, moon from Earth is like the size of a dinner plate. Moon from space is a quarter
yeah, but
size.
here I am, and the moon, I can reach out and basically touch it. Okay, come on.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
just again,
What is the what is the moon? Is it even a physical?
I think I think it's a reflection of Earth. Or no,
I do too.
like
I did too. So that means when I think that they did go to the moon, but what they're talking about is going outside the crater to the moon, quote unquote, right? And because I've seen,
I think they go up to the
I think,
firmament and then I think they come back down and they usually end up crashing in the ocean where nobody can see.
yeah, no, okay. Here's my breakdown of this because I have seen photos of people that I trust of things on the moon,
Hmm.
and what I've seen makes sense for what I was shown. And I do know about the reflection of the moon being the larger Earth that we live on. It kind of makes sense. I don't know how it works. Crater Earth guy, God Gevlameste, he talks about it, and you're totally right. And I don't think this used to always. It's only been recently, but they started launching everything like kind of like horizontally almost
Yeah,
because the first moon launch, quote unquote moon launches, all went straight up in the air. Um,
supposedly.
So, and even over here on the West Coast, they're launching them out there over the ocean so they can like hide them in the ocean, just
That,
drop them in the ocean.
yeah. How
And and there's been satellite photos of the places where they drop them, and there's all the debris in the ocean.
exactly. And how easy.
Right.
Easy.
Yeah, and nobody's in the rocket. Like you said, they escape out of the rocket. It's a big little look over here. We're going over this way.
Yeah. We're coming out of our little
You know what?
people
I
cars.
vaguely remember this. There's actually they talked about this in the 50s where they're like, "Oh, if something goes wrong, we have an escape hatch here. It's like a giant slide
Uh-huh.
out of the rocket." And I was like, "What?"
Exactly.
Like, wait a second. That's what you're doing. Okay, so you add all that together, and then you think, oh, and then God gave left mistake from Crater Earth Theory. He's basically like, okay, so it's got something to do with Disney, Epcot Center, and the constant shape and map of Disneyland, Disney World, all the Disneylands and Disney Worlds
Yep.
are the shape of the crater Earth that we live in, and Epcot is like this thing outside of Crater Earth that's where they're taking all our money to. That's where the Nazis went. That's where everything's going. The industrial military complex is leaving somehow and building outside. And when they go to the moon, quote unquote moon, they're going outside into this area. And I mean, I'm not saying any of this is true or anything, but it all seems to fit together. Like I don't know how it totally works, but it's it's compelling, very compelling. And maybe the maglevs run out there, like through the tunnel system and all that,
Yeah.
And they just built it all out, and then there's a whole other thing going on out there. And then there was something else I was going to add to that. Well, anyway, yeah, that's I mean, I strongly suspect that that is what they're talking about. And I don't know if there is a space at all. I've got a lot of stuff to add to that. We don't have time right now, but I don't know if there is a space.
Let's definitely jump into that one on our next one because yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to drop down that rabbit hole for sure.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. Well,
yep, we need
let's wind it up. What do you think?
yeah, 40 minutes we're at, so we better say
Yeah.
goodbye.
Say goodbye to everybody. JoJo.
All right. Goodbye world. We love you to the moon.
If there is a moon.
If there is a moon to the fake moon.
All right, you guys, everybody, we love you very much, and thank you for our 4 subscribers. And no, we've got quite a bit of subscribers, but nobody likes our videos. That's fine. For the 2 people that like our videos, it's not us, me and Jojo. We don't do that.
Hey,
Well, I'm kidding. Sometimes we do.
I just love having stop by.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being with us this week, and we'll probably talk to you next week.
Until next time.